Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2021. It's Stage Racer. We're on episode 42. Excuse me. We're at the Copa Sabatini, final 40 kilometers now, and we're in good shape for this one. The only thing about it is there is a cobbled bit on the final climb. You can see right now this is the final climb. So it's very steep. It's 10% average gradient for about a kilometer. That's not the same climb. That's the finishing climb right there. The circuit we've been on has had a little cobbled climb. That final climb, that's not as bad. I thought that the loop was changing and we just got to where that loop changes. But that's the little finishing bit, and that's not as bad. This could favor me. So the team wants me to finish in the top 20. They wanted me in the breakaway for 70K within the final 140. For one thing, the breakaway had a huge gap. They were 7-8 minutes ahead, and we are still just about ready to bring them in here. 2 more times after this current one will we hit this climb. And yeah, this is not as bad. This is only about 6% average through there. Though a small group just opened a little gap that's going to get closed down. I'm not technically the leader. Camargo is, so he's getting what support there is. Tolman working for him. I've got to go on my own. They still want me to finish in the top 20, and I don't have the teammate assignment, but the leaders want me to work for them instead, and Camargo barely has anything left. There's one rider going clear, Aaron Burrow. Penultimate time up the climb here in just a second. This time we do want to make sure we are staying in position. In fact, I kind of work my way up during the climb. Going my pace to make sure I don't get dropped on it. And that was easy enough at an 85. Really did not do much damage. Next time will be to the finish. So work my way back forward through here. Okay, sit up. We still have not brought back Aaron Burrow right now, and nobody seems overly worried about it, but I look at that going, yeah, he's probably going to win if we don't chase him down, and we're not chasing him down right now with 8.5K to go. In fact, the gap has opened. It's now 40 seconds. Finally, Mohoric decides to chase. Follow the attack. This might split the field, and it might not. It does split. We are 9 chasing that 1, and the gap is back down to 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 seconds, and we have just about brought him back, and we sit up. Okay, 5.5K to go. Time to gel. Okay, that used up the red bar. And it's back together. It's 11 riders. Camargo is just off the back, but he's not going to catch up. Oh, he does catch. Wow, we've really sat up here. Yeah, that rider is somebody who's off the back. Just follow who's ever at the front. Come on. Too far back. How did I get so far back all of a sudden? 1K to go. And this is it. So let's start pushing. Use sneak. Okay, sprinted out towards the finish. How did I don't understand how I got so far back so fast with 98, 99 effort. It happens, I guess. We're easily getting the top 20, but 8th. 8th is okay. I'm not a puncher. It's okay. I mean, Hershey's got like a 82, 83 punch. Cosnefroy is up there too. Roglic has about an 80. That's how those guys kind of flew up that hill. But we were on, 96, 97 effort, and the gap opened in front of us. That's the hill rating. World Championships +5 on the race day condition. Hell yeah. Let's see what we can do with this one. That's 84 time trial. It's a 51 kilometer time trial with just a little bit of climbing, including right at the finish, so you got to save something for that. 83 is clearly a bit too hard as we are digging way too deep based on that, so drop that back to a 79. Okay, get through that first climb of the day, and we are still dropping too fast. No time checks along the way, so that makes that complicated. Okay, we're still going too hard, though we are clearly flying. Marc Soler, somebody we are catching up to already, but we're going to have to really, really drop off. There are a couple descents to go here, chance to recover some ground. 51K is just crazy long, so let's see what we can recover with a little tuck right there. Okay, that's not much of a tuck. This is a bit too flat. I'm surprised. Based on the profile, I mean, you could see the elevation changes in over 51K. You would think that those elevation changes would be more noticeable. We were just down for... tucked for a couple hundred meters was about all. It's hard to recover much energy like that. But we're clearly making good time. It's just can we recover enough to get to the finish, because we came pretty hot out of the box. We've got the descent and climb at the finish, so I think those will kind of balance each other out, meaning I should be about neutral by the time I get back to the finish line. And we are closing in on neutral, but again, no tuck through there. Okay, we're getting closer. I think we'll be okay. 70 is going to get me back there. Ooh, there's a little tuck. That helps. Let's see, we've nearly caught Soler. But I'm one of the first ones to go, so it's going to be hard to tell whether our time holds up or not. On the verge of passing Soler. Okay, and almost neutral. And then the descent and climb to come. We're inside the last 9 kilometers. All right, almost. Okay, we're about neutral, and then we're going to descend and climb. So I can't just suddenly speed up because we've got to get through that climb. We've got to save something for that. Okay, there's the tuck. Boy, that was not much tuck, was it? Okay, final kilometer. Pushing for the line. 99. Okay, it's first so far. I mean, but Soler and I were literally the first 2 to go. Soler should have a good time. 2:18 is the gap. On top through the first 4, but Van Hoof is 46 seconds down. I don't think that's going to hold up long term. 57 minutes, 37 seconds. We'll see how we do. I thought maybe starting a little too strong would have cost me. It didn't. I just won the World Championships in the individual time trial. The rainbow bands are mine. Evenepoel, the only one who could get close. Van Hoof, who went early like I did, was the only one besides Evenepoel who even got near within roughly 3/4 of a minute. So that was enough. Ghana, minute 7 down in 7th. Asgreen was only 8th. I wonder if conditions were changing. This game doesn't really do that terribly well, but feels like those of us who went early were among the best times. In fact, the first two riders to go, Soler and I, both in the top 25. So I didn't fly past Soler, and it's a little weird that the U.S. coach decided to send me out first, even though I was the champion from the U.S., would have been the favorite. I wasn't even selected last year, I don't think, for the time trial. I think I did the road race, but I wasn't even in the time trial. So there you go. A year later, I'm not only the U.S. champion, but I am the world champion. We'll see what we can do. I don't know what the profile is going to be for the road race. So the World Championships were flat as a pancake. I didn't even get invited to work as a domestique for the team. So I guess it makes sense. I mean, flat profile's not mine at all. It is what it is on that part. But Van Aert, ahead of Ewan, ahead of Stuyven for the World Championships. So Belgium won 3. Strong performance from them, and it was the Belgians who were just behind me in the time trial as well, so dominant year for them. As I'm coming up on the end of the season, it's Lombardia. First off, we've got about a week to go, and I still don't have a contract for next season. They can't afford me, so I think that's why I'm not getting an offer. But to my understanding, the way the game is coded, they will have to offer me before the end of the season, regardless of financials. So I should get re-signed. We'll see, though, if they've gone through and signed anybody else. Last time we checked, which was a month ago, they had not signed anyone at that point. So we're seeing a bit of a push right now, so it's time for me to begin responding. There are 10 riders in the break. They're down to 1 minute on what used to be a sizable gap, and the chase has been coming on pretty hard. And now, even though we haven't even gotten into the big climbs of this one, there's already fatigue, even in my legs, even with a +5 race day condition. My expected was a +3, so my draw is still only a +2. It's an objective. I'm on a fitness peak. This is the time of the season. This is that big final push. All right, well, anyway, to the race itself. The race suits me to an extent. There's climbing. There's punchy climbing at the end. So punchers first, climbers secondary. But it finishes on a sprint. So the two attributes that hurt me, well, 3 attributes that hurt me for a race like this and make me definitely not a favorite to win are A, stamina, because it's 200 and a billion kilometers. Saturation, of course, but it's very lengthy, and I don't have the stamina for lengthy. 2, I don't have sprint. It's a sprint finish, even though the lead up to it is definitely a lot of climbing and punchiness. And 3, I'm not a puncher. Hill rating, base 75. Okay, but here's the good news. 2 of the 3 have been dealt with by the race day condition. Hills, 81 today. That's enough to be competitive. Maybe not for the win, but it finishes on that sprint, not necessarily getting away solo. And you never really see solo finishes here. You see small group. You see the last 6-8 riders. I could be in that last 6-8 riders with my climbing capability, with my legs that I have today. Stamina, 77. That is also enough. My team, they don't have enough. There's not enough about them. We're down to 51 riders, and this next climb, well, Camargo's probably going to get dropped, but let's see if we can get him up on my wheel before he does see the drop on this next part of the climb. I think we're going to get down to a very select group over the next 5K. In fact, we're already seeing a push. If I continue on, it's back up to 75. If I continue on through here, I could see this group just massively thinning out, climbing at my pace. In fact, we're down to 4. We're down to 3. And Camargo is with me. I have Camargo with me. Vingegaard is the one who has been able to go with us. There's still 45K to go, so we do need to back off a bit, but we have massively thinned out. Vlasov has joined us. Bernal has joined us. This is almost a perfect scenario because a small group could survive. Camargo got dropped though. Vlasov and Bernal are with me. And they've got a little bit left as we hit the top. I did all the work, and those 2 go clear. We are a full minute clear of a chase of 33. I want those 33 to catch me, or 17, even better. And we back off and we begin our recovery. Those 2 riders are a minute ahead, though, and they got back together, so that's bad news because they could work. 14 chasers, though. As I recover, I'd like for those 14 to pick it up, and then we have just, that small group chasing down those couple of guys. That would be ideal. 4, 5, or 14, whichever the case may be. I'm going to take it easy because I need them to catch up. I'm not going solo to the finish this far out, 32K to go. But now's a great time to get hand up, get some water. Okay, I'm about to get caught by somebody. Patrick Conrad has caught up to me. So we will ride together. Let him do the work because we've opened a 1.5-minute gap behind us. I could potentially catch those two out ahead. But look at the effort. I mean, look how low my energy is at this point. That's not good. I wasn't riding hard. Or is that Conrad who opened that up and I had to ride hard to stay with him? Either way, this is a little bit too low on the energy. The guys ahead of us are 2 minutes clear, but they're going to have nothing left. They'll be easy to catch. Right now, I'm recovering slightly. That's good before we hit the climb. Minute 11 is the gap behind us. Whoa, look at this guy running with us. You see that in real life all the time, but not in the game. Okay, group of 13. And they're trying to push on. Trying to catch those two at the front, but look at the gap. Jeez. This is playing out kind of weird. Some guys are just riding on, and it's the low stamina. Green bar is low. Alright, so there's 4 of us. There's 3 just ahead of us. Sit on. We need to recover. Not doing anything crazy here, but crazy things are happening around us, including those front 2 opening a massive gap, even though I did the work and they left me behind with 50 meters to go to the top, and they're going to end up winning by a wide margin. Here we go. Final climb. 7K. Don't overdo it because we don't have the energy for that, but my climbing legs, this is 86 climbing, and yet those guys are riding away from me. And doing it with more energy than what I have left in the tank. Only one of them ends up getting dropped. Let him do the work, try to recover a little bit. Top 10 anyway. Bernal takes the win. He's the one who pulled away by 3 minutes. He's already won by a full minute. Roglic, Vlasov, Pogačar. Okay, sprinted out. Can we beat Gaudu? Probably not. He's a good sprinter. We're not. Oh, and he's going to take the last spot in the top 10. I'm going to get 11th. I get 12th! Bagioli comes out of nowhere and steals 11th place from me. Finished just ahead of Martin and Van Wilder. Boy, I set that up for Bernal perfectly as if I was a teammate. I wasn't trying to ride away from everyone on that climb, and I did go too deep. Bernal, though, holy cow, how did he sustain that effort 40K with just one other rider with him? I get how you leave them behind. 2 riders going together, right? Myself alone for quite a while there hurt a lot. I lost a lot of energy being solo there for a bit. But then Conrad came up to me, so there was at least 2 of us, but Conrad only finished 20th, so I ended up leaving him massively behind. But the 2 of us weren't far enough ahead of the bunch. Bernal and Vlasov were, but then Roglic, Pogačar, Yates, Alaphilippe all left me behind, left me in the dust when we got to the penultimate climb. And that's because they were in a group of a dozen where they were able to conserve energy. That's where I should have been. Not my best day tactically. All right, and there you go, 10th of October, pushed all the way to the end. We didn't even have an offer until today, but it came today, and we are forced into a contract extension. There is the game mechanic that will not allow you to go unsigned for a year, and we are now going to be re-signed. The unfortunate news, though, is exactly what I saw. They have signed 0 riders. 0. The 8 that had a contract through next year are the only 8, plus myself coming back. So we are going to be down to just 9 riders on the squad, seemingly as a Continental Pro team with 9 riders. We only had 14 to begin with for this last season, but we're losing Malone, we're losing Tolman, we're losing 2 of our key guys already gone. But there's another 5 riders, well, another 3 in addition to them. with expiring contracts themselves that are on the way out. So, wish us luck. Carl Alves as a puncher is all we're going to have back. Of course, he steals my thunder on a lot of those punchy ones where I could compete, and he ends up as the leader. So that's not good. And then a sprinter plus another puncher in Pedersen, who has the same rating as I do. Camargo, who often gets that because he's got a 76 on the hills. Camargo is going to be the only climber left to support me on the entire team. Ouch. I've had a hard enough year as it's been this year with this challenge of trying to stay with one team. Now, if the team had a new sponsor next year, that could be a different matter, right? Pick up a new sponsor, more budget. Suddenly, things get a little bit better as they can finally bring in some new faces. But this does seem to be collapsing on us. We are seemingly putting the team into default. We're bankrupting them. And they're just losing riders one by one. And if you look at it now, everybody has an expiring contract next year. So if I take up the entire budget, it's possible that I will be the only rider on the team come next season. Well, one more season down the road, that is. We'll see if that's the case. Could be. It could happen. We'll give it one last season on that part to just see how it goes. But it could be quite challenging. Would I still have Domestique role when I'm the only rider on the team? Will we have a complete team in races next season? With only 9, I'm guessing probably not. We're probably going to start having 3, 4, 5 guys in a race. Wish us luck. Wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. I'm having a hard enough time in a race like this one, Lombardia, where I could have done great, but without any teammate support around me, I went and tried to do it myself, and it blew up in my face. Cost me a sure top 10. Cost me a probable top 5. 12th isn't a bad result, but that was with good race day condition. Still, that was a race that doesn't necessarily suit me. I mean, it wasn't a given that I should have done better with that. I wasn't in the top 10 favorites, so technically 12th is a good result. But you and I both know that I could have done more with that. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.